On the 8th of August 2026, the football world fell quiet for a man who never once kicked a ball on the greatest stages of the sport, but without whom the greatest player who ever did would never have arrived there at all. Jorge Horacio Messi died in the early hours of Saturday, the 8th of August 2026, at the Sanatorio Centro Medical Clinic in Rosario, Argentina, after a long illness. He was 68 years old, surrounded by his wife Celia, and his children Rodrigo, Matias, and Maria Sol. Lionel had visited his father in Argentina after the World Cup, spending precious time with him before returning to Inter Miami, a fact that, in the light of what followed, carries a tender and irreplaceable significance. He was there. He had time with him. And then, on a Friday night in Rosario, Jorge Messi was gone. This is a tribute to the architect of a journey that changed football forever. The quiet, constant father behind every trophy, every record, and every moment of genius the world spent 30 years celebrating. To understand who Jorge Messi truly was, we must begin in the city that made him, and the ordinary life from which something extraordinary grew. Jorge Horacio Messi was born in 1957 in Rosario, Argentina, a port city of extraordinary football culture and ordinary working-class life. He worked as a manager at a steel factory called Akandar, raised 4 children with his wife Celia, and was, by every account, a devoted supporter of Newell's Old Boys and a man entirely defined by his family and his city. He was not wealthy. He had no connections, no influence, no access to the corridors where decisions about football were made. He was a factory worker in Rosario who had a son named Lionel who was small for his age and ran with a ball in a way that made Jorge stop whatever he was doing and watch. Newell's Old Boys described him in their tribute as the pillar and the person who, with vision, rigor, and affection, supported the career of the best player of all time, alongside his wife, Celia Cuccittini. He was not the legend. He was the foundation the legend was built on. But the moment that defined his life came not in a stadium, but in a doctor's office. And the decision that followed changed the entire history of football. When Lionel was 10 years old, he was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency that cost $900 a month to treat, entirely beyond a steel worker's salary in Argentina. Jorge pursued every door in Rosario and found them closed. Then came Barcelona. FC Barcelona's director Carlos Rexach watched the boy and understood immediately what he was seeing. On a paper napkin at a tennis club, he wrote out an agreement to sign Lionel Messi and fund his treatment. Jorge Messi had brought his 13-year-old son to a foreign country and been handed a contract on a napkin, and he said yes, because the alternative was unthinkable. He left his job, his city, his language, and the life he had built in the place where he was known. He arrived in Barcelona with no safety net, restarted everything from nothing, and did it all because he believed in a boy the rest of the world had not yet been given the chance to believe in. That decision is the reason Lionel Messi exists as we know him. Without it, there is no Barcelona, no Ballon d'Or, no World Cup, no greatest of all time. There is only a talented boy in Rosario whose story ended before it began. For the first decade of Lionel's career, Jorge served as his representative and manager, negotiating contracts, managing relationships, and protecting his son with the particular ferocity of a father who had given up everything for this journey and was not about to let it be mishandled. He was not always right, and some decisions attracted scrutiny, but the intention was never in question. Every choice Jorge made was made in the interest of his son. Beyond the professional role, he was a permanent fixture in the stands wherever Lionel played, the face Messi has spoken about searching for after important goals, the approval that carried a weight no sporting achievement could replicate. He was present at the Ballon d'Or ceremonies, the Champions League finals, the Copa America triumph of 2021, and in Lusail in December 2022, when Lionel finally lifted the World Cup, the tears on Jorge's face in that moment among the most widely shared images of an already impossibly emotional night. He was always simply there. On the 8th of August, Jorge was gone. Inter Miami immediately stressed that Messi needed privacy, a request the football world, to its considerable credit, largely honored. UNICEF mourned the loss of a man always committed to the rights of boys and girls. The Royal Spanish Football Federation sent its love to Lionel in moments of deep sorrow. FC Barcelona paid tribute to the man who had arrived at their door with a 13-year-old son and a napkin and changed the club's history forever. Newell's Old Boys spoke of a devoted supporter and a father whose vision and affection underpinned the career of the best player of all time. Every tribute shared a quality that distinguished it from ordinary condolence messages. They were specific, because Jorge Messi was specific. A man whose contribution to football was not abstract, but concrete, personal, and traceable to a single decision made on a single day in a foreign city when nobody yet knew how the story would end. He left Rosario with nothing guaranteed and everything at stake. He gave the world Lionel Messi. The price of a legend is always paid by someone else first, and Jorge Messi paid it completely, without complaint, and with his whole heart. Lionel Messi has won everything the sport of football has to offer. He has broken every record the game has produced and been celebrated by billions across 6 continents. None of it, not one trophy, not one goal, not one Ballon d'Or, was possible without Jorge Horacio Messi. The man who worked in a steel factory in Rosario watched his small son run with a ball and decided without hesitation that this boy deserved every chance the world could offer him. He left everything he knew. He crossed an ocean. He said yes to a contract on a napkin and started again in a foreign country at middle age because his son needed him to. He sat in stands for 30 years watching that boy become a legend, feeling the particular bittersweet pride of a parent whose greatest achievement is visible to the entire world, but belongs, in the most important sense, entirely to someone else. Jorge Messi died on the 8th of August 2026, survived by his wife Celia, his children Rodrigo, Matias, Maria Sol, and Lionel, the son who was always his greatest pride, and who this week is grieving the loss of the first person who ever believed in him. The records will remain, the trophies will remain, the goals will remain, and Jorge Messi will remain in every one of them, invisibly, permanently, the way that foundations remain in every building ever built to last. Rest in peace, Jorge Messi. The world is a better place for everything you chose to do in it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications bell for more gist and stories on your favorite celebrities. Until the next one, please stay tuned.